Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my first Agent Carter video. Hopefully you guys all survive New Year's. I think it's a bit of a surprise that a show's premiering this early. For those that are wondering, it will premiere next Tuesday. It's basically filling in for S.H.I.E.L.D. while S.H.I.E.L.D. is on break. So it'll run for 8 episodes, then S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back. Also, really awesome news, there's a couple new movie trailers coming in the next couple weeks. There'll be a new trailer for Avengers 2, or at least a promo if it's not a full-on trailer, February 12th on ESPN during the National Championship game. If you don't get ESPN, don't freak out, they'll post it online. There's also the first trailer for Ant-Man that's supposed to premiere sometime in the next couple of weeks. They haven't officially confirmed when. It's possible that they could do that during Agent Carter. They could premiere the Ant-Man trailer during Agent Carter sometime. Marvel doesn't really have any other shows going on in January, so that's just like the logical place to stick it. There have been some rumors about possible Ant-Man Agent Carter connections. I'll explain that at the end of this video. This is mostly going to be Agent Carter stuff. And I will do separate videos whenever those trailers do post. So as you've seen, Haley Atwell reprising her role as Agent Carter from the movies. Dominic West is back from the movies too as Howard Stark, but he's only going to be in one episode, or at least he's only listed in one episode on IMDb. The really cool new casting, the one I'm really excited about, is the real-life Jarvis, like Howard Stark's butler. In the timeline of the movies, Tony Stark, eventually whenever he creates the Jarvis AI, uses his voice as the voice for the AI. In the movies, it's Paul Bettany, but I think the fact that Paul Bettany is playing the Vision is going to make watching real-life Jarvis just super surreal, so I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I know there's a lot of questions about that Paul Bettany Vision, how he gets created. Is it Ultron? Does Tony Stark create him? I'll talk about that the next time I post an Avengers video. I'm really enjoying watching people argue over the Vision, though. He's going to be a big point of contention for the fandom. There's going to be 8 episodes total. The first 2 episodes, they'll air back-to-back, though. They haven't said whether or not they're going to do a season 2 or they're planning that, but I think if it's successful enough, they'll consider it, whether or not they move it around in the schedule. January is kind of a dumping ground for movies and TV. It's like where all the least popular stuff goes, so I'm actually surprised that they're releasing it this early. Just to put this series into context with the Netflix shows that are going on, because Marvel has so many TV shows that it's throwing around now. All the Netflix shows, with the exception of Defenders, are getting 13 episodes per season. There are a couple reasons for that, mostly scheduling issues and financial issues. Netflix is co-financing the Marvel shows. Not in the way it finances Netflix original series, they are paying Disney a dump truck of money for the first run rights. So they have just like a little extra juice to do some extra episodes for the Netflix stuff. And for those that are wondering, yes, they have been talking about Daredevil future season stuff. It's all just been tongue-in-cheek, so they'll probably save any kind of Daredevil season 2 talk till Comic-Con this year. I think ABC and Marvel are going to take the wait-and-see approach with Agent Carter, though. And like if it's really popular, people like it, they'll totally do season 2. So just looking at Agent Carter, really, I think the appeal is more that this is going to be a period show more than like a comic booky Marvel show. Think like Mad Men, only if Joan were a secret agent running missions in her off hours. This 2-hour premiere next week, it's going to completely set up what the rules of the Agent Carter universe are going to be, who the heroes are, who the villains are, what the arc of the season is going to be. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has laid a little bit of groundwork in just showing some of the places and doing some flashbacks, like with the Daniel Whitehall character, but they do have synopsis for the first couple of episodes. Episode 1 is called This Is Not the End. It says Peggy Carter is contacted by an old acquaintance, Howard Stark, of course, when he is framed for unleashing his deadliest weapons and can trust no one else. To help Peggy clear Stark's name, he enlists his butler, Edward Jarvis, be at her beck and call, whether she likes it or not. But the risk is great. If caught, Agent Carter could be targeted as a traitor and spend the rest of her days in prison, or worse. Episode 2 is called Bridge and Tunnel, and it reads, Howard Stark's deadliest weapon has fallen into enemy hands, and only Agent Carter can recover it. But can she do so before her undercover mission is discovered by SSR Chief Dooley and Agent Thompson? Those are the people she works under during the day. Episode 3 is called Time and Tide. That will air in 2 weeks, and the synopsis reads, as Agent Carter closes in on Howard Stark's stolen technology, Peggy's secret mission could unravel when the SSR arrests Jarvis and a secret is revealed. It doesn't say a whole lot, but that's okay. I think they're just trying not to spoil stuff. So I think the funny takeaway is that all of this like secret agent stuff is going to be on the DL from her bosses. They've really tried to sell that, the idea of Peggy Carter working in a man's world, like in all these promos. It kind of makes all the men on the show sound like assholes up front, so we'll see how it goes. I'm sure they'll play as funny as possible without getting too bigoted. I'm just expecting to see a lot of Mad Men gender politics stuff. I think one of the big questions though is like, who are the big villains of the series going to be, and is it going to have anything to do with Hydra? They spent so much time hammering Hydra on S.H.I.E.L.D. in the last 2 years, especially through Winter Soldier, that I'm actually kind of looking forward to having some new villains on the show, although I feel like it's unavoidable, like it's too big of a presence in what's going on in the world at that point. What I'm really hoping is that they'll tell the story of how S.H.I.E.L.D. was created. Howard Stark was a founding member of S.H.I.E.L.D. In the timeline, S.H.I.E.L.D. was founded around 1946, but just to be clear, S.H.I.E.L.D. and SSR are two different organizations. SSR was the precursor to S.H.I.E.L.D., but S.H.I.E.L.D. was a different organization established by different people that just absorbed SSR. I know a lot of you are asking, how is this going to tie in with the movies and the other series? Are they going to have comic book characters in the show? Most of the connection is with S.H.I.E.L.D., and obviously on the show that they actually featured that. Like there was that funny moment with Simmons fangirling over Peggy Carter. So if we do see any direct references, I think it'll be mostly to S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. And most of the comic book people around that time would have been either Hydra people or S.H.I.E.L.D. people, early S.H.I.E.L.D. people. Like the closest thing they had to a hero team at the time were the Howling Commandos. I'm totally fine with them not trying to work into Avengers 2 or any of the other big movies or anything like that. Honestly, I think that hurt S.H.I.E.L.D. in its first season. Like they had that awesome betrayal plot with the Hydra stuff, and they had to sit on it all year because it was going to tie in with Winter Soldier, so they had to wait for that movie. Imagine how good S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been if they could have done that halfway through the season, if they could have done that as the mid-season finale. I'm not a big fan of stories set during this period, but I totally buy the premise. I totally love Haley Atwell, and Marvel does adventure really well, so I think it's going to be a really fun show. I think the only thing I'm kind of worried about is the secondary cast, the supporting characters. Because it's not an effects-driven show, it's really going to lean on its characters. That means if there aren't some really interesting relationships going on in the SSR during the daytime stuff, and some really cool character relationships going on during the secret agent stuff at night, like the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, then it's really going to be hard to sit through this series. That's why I'm taking a bit of a wait-and-see approach. I mean, I'm committed to doing videos for each of the episodes, good or bad. I think there'll be a lot to talk about, so I'm really interested to see what ends up happening. I don't think Marvel has quite hit that oversaturation point when there's just too many Marvel shows on at the same time for everyone to handle at once. I'm actually even curious to see if that ever ends up happening. If there gets to be a point when there's just too much comic book stuff on TV. So if you guys want, I can totally do a Q&A video for the first couple of episodes for Agent Carter next week. Just let me know in the comments. Just to explain the Ant-Man Agent Carter stuff, there was a casting call for someone to be Haley Atwell's stand-in on the set of Ant-Man whenever they were filming the movie. Based on that, it's possible they could do a flashback scene with young Peggy Carter. That's in Ant-Man, not on Agent Carter, not on the TV show. It doesn't really explain the connection between Peggy Carter and the Ant-Man characters, but given the premise of Ant-Man, that it's all about Hank Pym's stolen technology, it'll probably be tech-related. And just for reference, Ant-Man is being released this summer. I know it's actually really soon, July 17th. I'll talk a little bit more about the Ant-Man movie whenever I do a video for that first trailer, because I think it'll be an interesting movie, but they have changed it quite a bit from when Edgar Wright was working on it. So here's my big question for you guys. If Haley Atwell is going to be in the Ant-Man movie, do you think that the Agent Carter show is going to tie in with Ant-Man? I'm not expecting it to, at least not in a big way. Michael Douglas, for instance, he was born in 1944. So Hank Pym, assuming, same timeline, he'd only be 2 years old whenever events on the show are happening. So I'm totally okay. I'm totally in favor for the TV show not crossing over with the movies, but just big reminders on the dates. So Agent Carter gonna premiere next Tuesday on the 6th. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. And if there's anything specific that you guys want me to reference whenever I do Agent Carter videos, just let me know. That'll air for 8 weeks till Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back. Avengers 2 trailer coming on February 12th. Then as S.H.I.E.L.D. is slowly closing down its season, Avengers 2 is going to air. That's May 1st. Daredevil is also supposed to premiere sometime around the Avengers 2 release. They might move the day around by a week or so. And then Ant-Man in the summer. So a lot of fun stuff happening in the next 6 months. Right now, if you guys are on your mobile phone or on your tablet, you can click up here. There's new mobile links that you can click on. It's the same as the links over here. But click here to learn all about the new Daredevil show. It's just kind of a breakdown of the Man with No Fear storyline. And click here for all my other Avengers videos. Thank you so much for watching. So let's all high five. I will see you guys tomorrow.